Well, first of all, thank you everyone for joining our webinar today. The topic is the AEC content management. There's a solution for this coming from the CTC tools called HIVE CMS. My name is Omar Ruiz Miranda. I am a technical specialist and support. And today I will present in this webinar on the content management. I wanted to provide this webinar. It's for the beginners and see the process on how to get started. Some of you may already have HIVE. They probably use it. I don't think there's going to be many tricks or tips on the actual usage of the software itself, but it's just the started part and setting up on the site on the portal. First of all, let's see what is HIVE. Well, HIVE is a content management software solution that was designed specifically for the AEC industry. This system or this tool organizes, manages, and controls the permissions for content that the entire company can access from anywhere. This allows us to host a single source of truth for the content that we use, so nobody else just going around and finding their own stuff. One specific person or group of people may manage this to distribute it to the users, so that everybody's using the same content. This helps a lot to improve the productivity of the users by searching the content and using it without having to spend so much time. There's if you are used to working with the, like, let's say families or other type of files in the regular Windows system or file explorer, you need to sometimes go very deep into folders to find content. Sometimes this is difficult to find. The families may not be named exactly with all the properties, all the things that it contains or it is about. So searching or finding those families may take time. Sometimes if you don't have access to a VPN because maybe the content is on the network, then you're stuck in there without that content. So HIVE helps to solve those issues. Okay. And first of all, as well, after this, how do we get the installer? So HIVE CMS is a tool that gets installed in the computer and also gets added to Revit as an add-in and to AutoCAD. Those are the main two Autodesk softwares that this works with. However, CTC HIVE CMS works by itself. It's not necessary to have a software open in order for you to access it and find content. Of course, if we need to upload Revit families or AutoCAD blocks, then of course we need the software open in order for the tool to recognize those files. But let's see, how do we get HIVE for the beginners here, for whoever doesn't have it yet? The main part or main way to do it is go to the ctcsoftware.com webpage, and then you'll find the HIVE tool right here. When you're in this page, simply go and give it a try for a 14-day trial and provide your information. So it will take your email. It will ask you how many users you want to try it with. So if you're testing it with a group of people that you want to test it, include the numbers of users that will have access for that. All right, so let me just go back here. Once you sign in, once you get the trial with the number of users you want, you'll receive an email similar to this. They will give you the link to access your portal. They will give you access to your password, and if you forgot your password, how to do it to recover it, things like that. Anyways, you can click on that link or go directly to this one right here, the hive21.ctcsoftware.com. which is this site right here. And this is the first page that you will see there. The now let's talk specifically. I'll go back to that page in a second, but I want to see what's the next area that we're going to talk about. And the first things that I will recommend to go and set up is the users and the groups. We'll learn how to create it, manage, and disable them. So once on the page here, the account admin will be able to see all these tabs here because they have full access, full control of everything in the Hive portal. Some of these tabs we're not going to even touch today. We're just going to look at the users and groups and CMS. But as you can see, there are other options. These are more related to, like, for example, dashboard, related to the Hive file that also comes included with the Hive installer, or the zip file, I should say. There are two installers, one for Hive CMS, one for Hive file. Hive file helps to keep track and helps get data from the projects that the users open and work on every day. And then there will be the options here. You'll see what's going on with those projects, set them up, or add more projects to these views here. But like I said, we want to start with users and groups. This is the interface for that, and we'll start with users. This is very straightforward process here. Everything in here is well labeled here to know what to do. The first part, I would say, start by creating a user. By default, the account admin might already be here, and then the next is to add those users. So simply click on this little logo to add. So you're going to start putting the name of the new user, the last name, and of course their password. You have the option, like sometimes in our case, in our example, we have offices in Minnesota, Little Rock, and Arizona, and other places. So you can probably say, like, Minnesota office maybe, or department support, for example, and description, like which type of user this is going to be for. And then the next one, and by the way, I'm not going to do any live example because the emails that I may have, they're already used here, so it won't let me add them. But anyways, once you add this information and you just put something easy to remember for the password for that user, and then say continue. The next one will go to your select roles and groups. However, we recommend to use to set up the roles on the group side. So you just create the users here, but then you manage the roles on the groups area. So once you're done with this, you simply say continue and save after this, and then you can close it. Then your users will appear here. Here's another option. You may export a list. If you're new, of course, you'll only have one user, but you can still export that Excel file, and it will look something like this, where you have by default, this is some kind of a randomly assigned ID to the users, and it will tell you what the users are. See in here, I have some generic ones, or just for demos and testings, things like that. So let's say we need to add more people. You simply start typing here the email of that new person, the name, the last name, and again, the same fields as you saw me on the site. You can fill those out in here as well. Once it's done, save it, and then you can, of course, you can close it, and then come back to the page here and say import. This will allow you to navigate to where that Excel file is, and simply say upload file, and then we'll give you other message that it's ready to, it has been imported, and you just close it, and then all your users will appear here. This is a very easy and fast way to add users, especially when you have a lot of them to add at once. That's very, very helpful. To delete users, you may simply check the box here and say delete. It'll ask if you really want to delete them or not, and you can say okay or not. One other thing and tip that I wanted to touch in here is sometimes when users are constantly trying to put their passwords and it's not taking it, maybe they forgot it and then they just keep trying anyways. Sometimes Hive just disables the users automatically. So they'll have to recover their password somehow. But here, if the users are already here, simply go to this area where it says active. You see that little arrow? And you may find them. You can filter by these two options and see if there are other people that are disabled or even people that are deleted from here, from your main list of users. Now, keep those in mind. Sometimes we've seen and support that when we try to add more users, we get an error that says that something is not working and try again later or something like that. Most of the times is because the user already exists. So go to look for disable or delete it, see that user exists. If they're already there, simply activate them. So if somebody's here and they're disabled, and they click here, and then you can just simply edit them and say, right here, change the status of that. So currently it's disabled, simply go and say active, and then we'll change them back to for the users can access the Hive again. So yeah, that's a little tip there to, in case you ever see that error message when trying to add users. All right, next, groups. Same process here. As you can see, there's no export or import, but this is more per group. You can do search. If you already have a lot of groups and you know which one you're looking for, you can do a search there. But to add groups as well, same process, a little bit less less data to input, but you can say 101 test, and then continue. Now here is the part where I was telling you that we can control the organization roles, and I'll touch this which one is for what, and explain a little bit more. But for adding members, simply you can search here or click down here and go through all the list of users you already have. For example, if I want to add myself to here, simply look for my name, find it, and you can continue doing the same thing until you find all the people that you need in that group specifically, because then you can control, let's say you create a group for users only. That means they don't really have any admin permissions at all. So you can just keep those boxes unchecked, and all the users are gonna see in Hive, and the computer is gonna be able to search, get the content, download it, use it, that's it. They won't be able to upload or do other stuff. You just want them to simply use the tool, and that way then make them users. You could create groups for other options like the CMS admin. And by the way, CMS admin would be the minimal requirement to control users in groups and CMS area as well, to create libraries, which we're going to touch those in a little bit. So talking about the roles here, the organization admin, as it says here, these are pretty much the gods of this site here. They can do everything they want. They can add people, delete people, create projects, create groups, etc. So they can do everything. The next one, the license admin, they can manage subscriptions to services and products that the organization has. They can also see the product usage, like we saw on the homepage. You saw that there was a graph that shows you all the tools that I had and how much I usually use them, things like that. So that license admin can see that as well. User admin, as it says here, it's they can manage the groups, the users, just like we're showing right here, and also the roles. The project admin, they can manage projects and paths, and that would be this tab over here. And again, this is more related to the HivePal option, which we're not talking about today, but that would be the project admin. Now, CMS admin, like I said, is the minimum requirement to control the users and the CMS and the libraries. And then, of course, you can do anything that you want in there: delete them, create them, edit them, all that. Tag admin it actually just controls the tags, and you can create tags and edit them. It's very self-explanatory as well. Request admin, they can also manage the request from the users to again do anything that you want with those, respond to the request or acknowledge them, things like that. Once you're done setting up the roles here, you simply can say save, and that will be you close it, and then it appears here. As you can see, it's right there when it was created and all that information. Any questions so far? Let me know if as I go as well. So next we'll move to the libraries. Libraries are let's see. So we talked about the organization roles and permissions, and then now the CMS libraries pretty much next. In this area, we'll have we'll touch the permissions and roles for the libraries. So let's go here and change to our website. To access the libraries, go to the CMS tab. As you can see, you have you can control this one or minimize it by clicking this arrow. You have your libraries here. And before we go into those, let me talk a little bit of the about the roles as well for libraries. So let me actually go through the process and create one. So you just follow each step. Once you fill this information, you go to the next, and then the permissions and even invitations. We'll talk about this other type of libraries here in a sec as well. But when we go to the permissions, there are these permissions right here. So you'll find the CMS admin. Let's talk about that one. They can add and remove libraries. They can control the tags, the content for the entire organization. Can also set up access to the groups and the users. It becomes a library manager, or they can tell them to become a contributor, a consumer. They can invite external users to the libraries. They can see the CMS analytics on the website. And you know, itself, it's a very powerful role to have the CMS admin permission here to control all the content. Now, the manager permission, they can upload, update, and remove content to the libraries that they manage. So the CS admin can make somebody a manager of a specific library. They can control the library as they wish. They can write reviews on content in libraries that they have granted access to. Now, the contributor, it is they can download the content, and pretty much I think that's all that they can do in here. Of course, use and download the content. That's all. Consumers can simply use and download the content again. It's pretty much the same as the contributor here. Not much difference, except the contributor can also write reviews to content in the libraries. Like if they're using the content and they like it, they can do some reviews and like, you know, I like to use this family, or I wish it had some other things like this, etc. Okay. So let's go back here, and then the creation of the libraries. We'll go and say, we'll call it this test, and then you can say create a new, but we're just gonna say create. And then we go to the next one, upload library image, you get the chance to give it a specific image to your library. Now, this is only visible in the portal. It's not something that you're gonna see in the tool itself. Once you go through that, you go to permissions. Now, here are the permissions that we talked about for users. Once we add a certain group here, for example, the one we created was HIVE 101 test. And then you select a role. Here are the consumer, contributor, or manager of this specific library. And then we already talked about which one can do everything. So we can give the manager permissions to that library and then continue. The invitations here, this is, let's see. This is related to the public libraries. It's, I haven't really seen the use for this, the public libraries. Is mostly for, let's say, an example I would use is for manufacturers that create their own content. If they have HIVE, they might be able to create public libraries to give access to anyone who has HIVE. They can access their public library easily. Other than that, right now the public libraries that are available are just out-of-the-box content from Revit that CTC has created for all of us. We'll take a look at those ones in a sec. But again, if you want, send an invitation to somebody outside of your company, make sure you do it through here and try not to add the users to the users and groups tab. One reason is we've seen issues that when somebody is already added to a library, to a HIVE account, they will get errors to a different account because they already are in the system. It's just they're not visible in that account, if that makes sense. So let's say here ATG, I'm adding a user that is from, I don't know, from another company, ATG or CTC or something. So if they already exist on their own HIVE account, I'll have issues trying to add them. That will get errors, things like that. And it's all because they're part of that. And let's say they don't exist in another library, so it will let me add them. But then let's say that company acquires HIVE, they have HIVE, they create their account. And now if they're trying to set up that user in there, they're also going to get errors because I already put them under my account. So they'll need to either ask that company to remove them from their account, or we'll have to probably contact CTC to help us somehow migrate that user to their own company account. Anyways, just a recommendation right there. After this, you just save and close. Here are the public libraries that I was telling you about, the ones that are available. These ones you may be able to subscribe to libraries, so they are showing on when you are in HIVE. You'll be able to see that part of library. Again, this is visible to everyone who subscribes to that, and it's visible and accessible to anyone that has HIVE. You can simply come here, you choose to subscribe and go for it, and just follow the steps that are here. Again, we don't use that much. We don't even have public libraries in our ATG HIVE here. The only ones available are from CTC. So let's talk a little bit about the organization itself. Here are some. We're not going to talk about taxes. This is more going into how to use the tool inside and the things like that. Right now we're setting up HIVE, not really using it. So organizational settings here in the same CMS tab under or below libraries. There's the settings and organization and user. So let's go and take a look at the organization settings. The important things here are there is when there is an update for HIVE, it automatically pushes to everyone who has access to it. And there's when we open HIVE, it will be a little message that says there's an update available, and we have the option to click OK to download it. Sometimes the organizations, the IT, they prefer to not have the users download stuff like that. So the account admin can come here and uncheck this for everyone, so they don't get that information. Keep in mind that managers or account admins or CMS admins, they will still be getting those updates even though this is unchecked. And this is on purpose because you want, as a manager, as an account admin, know if there's an update when you open that tool. So that's why the managers will still get that updates notification. But for the users, regular users, no, they will, once you uncheck this one, they won't get that. So here's some information where the cache location is, where the logs file is as well, and some other things about the library settings themselves. As you can see, we already went through sharing invitations to organizations. Like I said, when adding a person from another company, you can invite him to a library without having to add him to your own account. Allow public libraries. We talked about public libraries. If you want the users to see those ones or not, you can uncheck those. And then some options to auto filter for active design app. So when we have Revit or AutoCAD open, it will recognize which one we have. It'll find the products for that specific design or software. Also, it can help the auto update for search based on the design app that we have open, or the version even as well. So we are working on Revit 2020 or Revit 2021. It will change based on what we select under the design app option. Again, these are very self-explanatory as well. This enables content requests. This the auto delete after 2 days, so auto delete after. Here is again, this is related to the cache and to the logs. So basically, it's clearing itself every 30 days. And then we have some content settings that you can control what people can do. You want to allow the contributors to assign tags or not. You want to allow the contributors to do comments or ratings. Again, it's very self-explanatory. This part right here, prefer cloud content. When creating the libraries, there's an option there that we can uncheck or check that it has. Let me go and open one of mine here. Simply you click and edit, or you can click on the little pencil part. So this option right here, sorry, no, this one right here, upload content. This means that you are, whenever you upload content to this library, if you have this checked, that means it is going to the cloud. If you have it unchecked, it is just going to cache the information of the content to HIVE, but your content will still just live in the network or whatever location you're getting it from. As long as everybody has access to that location, they can simply search and look it up. So when they click to load it into their projects, it's going to be pulling it from the network or the location that you uploaded it from. If this is checked, it's going to take that information or the family or the content to the cloud. And at that point, anywhere you are, even if you are working from home and you don't have access to VPN, you can still access that content. So that would be the organization option right there for allow content, cloud content caching as well, and prefer cloud content. Allow downloads as well if they want to download the content once in the HIVE. So that would be the organizational settings. Okay, let's take a look at, so there's some user settings as well here. By default, when the users install the software, this is what they will get. Again, you can control it from here. You want them to you have everybody to have the same thing. You can control it right here. Again, notify if there's an update available, log in, or display this the type selector. Sometimes, or when there's a family that has types or a type catalog, it'll allow you to display the amount of types that there is, and they can pick which type. This is basically what it's telling us to do. You can display more items per page when searching for something, and you can control the pixels on those images as well. You can save the settings and all that. So any questions so far up to this setup process for Hive? Okay, perfect. So one last thing that I wanted to talk about is in the organization settings. This is important. When not only when we get the updates notifications in the Hive tool, we can of course do it from there, but for IT or the account admin or the managers, if they need the installation MSI file, they can simply get it from here. This is what we always recommend when there's a new update. We ask the admins to go here, latest installer. It will simply download that for you right there. Usually it doesn't take that long. So let me just open it once it's done. And I'll show you the, let's see, where did it open? So these are the files that I come with. Of course, some installations and configuration settings files, and some other PDFs to say what it can do and things like that. But what I'm looking for is the main two things right here, PAL and Hive. Again, we didn't talk about PAL, but this is to control and see what the data in the projects themselves when people are working on those projects. But this is the main one. So basically, you'll go and to whatever it was downloaded, right click and unzip the file. This will take you to get this one to open it again and to run it. So if I say extract all, I just wanted to show you one more thing right here. So this is the extracted file. Sometimes when extracting it, if you right click on this and say properties, you'll find this area of attributes and security. And you may want to click this one and unblock, just to make sure there's nothing that might be holding to it or something like that. So just unblock the file and then run it. And then it will install that. The installation doesn't really take that much. Once you are in the, once you install the software, you go and find it here just by typing Hive. In this case, I just click on it. I already have it open, so I'm gonna show you really quick. So this is what you will get. A quick demonstration here of what you can find. You can search for content right there. You can access your libraries. You can save searches. You can access tags or search by Revit categories. These options right here. Anyways, but in here, you can also see access your user settings. As you can see, these are very similar to what we were showing on the portal. This also allows you to see the about, tells you what version is available and what is not. And then you can access videos. This takes you to the CTC YouTube channel, where you'll have a group of or a playlist for Hive videos. Of course, the user guide, release notes, and the other AULA. So this up to this part is all you need. Again, because I already had signed in, but once the first time it's installed, you'll get that option to put your email and password. If the user forgot their password, they can simply say forgot password. They will get an email. If they don't get an email, please check the junk mail. or if there's something blocking that, to make sure that that they get that email to recover their password. All right, so that is all that I had for today. For you, like I said, it was a very simple demonstration, nothing extremely new or surprising. If you already use Hive, it's really not that different for what you already probably done, but it's mostly for beginners to get used and set up the Hive settings here and groups and users. If there are any questions, let me know. I'll allow maybe a minute or so. Just let me know here. All right. Well, I appreciate for those who stayed until the end, and thank you for your time. This concludes the webinar for today. Have a great day.